again. Good afternoon, and welcome to our second lockdown check-in. Hello to our new attendees, and hello to those that were here from last week as well. So today we're going to be focusing on anxiety. So we're going to be looking at what anxiety may look like. We're also going to touch upon what you can do to help yourself and help others that may be having an anxiety attack or having symptoms of anxiety. We also have the lovely Anita Wisdom with us today. Hi, Anita.
Hello.
And she'll be going through some breathing techniques with you a little bit later on. So stay tuned, as we will have a little exercise towards the end as well, which should be something really fun to get involved with. So hopefully you'll be able to take a few tips from today and implement it into your day-to-day life. So I'm now going to pass you to Emma, who's just going to talk a little bit about our services at the Lucy Rayner Foundation.
Yes, hi. Sorry for those that were on last week and heard it again. But just for anyone that's new, we basically try and provide a 360-degree service. We offer one-to-one counselling. We do support groups for families and carers. And we also do a men's group. And then we provide Surrey suicide bereavement, which is really busy at the moment, unfortunately. So yeah, these are all the services we provide, and you can have a look at them in more detail on the website. So take a look at that, and if you want to get involved with us, then just give us a shout. So I'm going to pass you over to my mother now, who's going to talk about anxiety.
Hi everybody. Welcome to our second check-in Friday. It's going to be about anxiety, but I just wanted you all to really understand that everybody has anxiety. Everybody. It's a natural response to external factors. And in fact, it's quite useful for when there's like dangerous situations. You get like a gut feeling that something's not feeling right. So you get a bit anxious about situations that you think that might be dangerous for you. So it's useful to have anxiety. Now, anxiety can come in very strange forms. Sometimes you might have mild anxiety where you get like a feeling of unease, or you might get full panic attack. There is a difference. Anxiety where you just reacting to an external factor is normal. When you get into the realms of having panic attack, that is known as a panic disorder. We're going to go through what all of these are, so you really get a good grip of what anxiety means. But again, I just want to reiterate that everybody has anxiety. So what causes anxiety? There's loads of reasons why people get anxious. It can be environmental. And what I mean by environmental, it could be something of the lines of you're in a relationship that is really hard for you. You might be moving house. You might be going through a divorce. You might even be bullied. These are external environmental things that could cause you to have anxiety. It could be a medical thing. You could have like a breathing disorder. You could be on medication that makes you react in a certain way. It could be genetic. Sometimes anxiety runs in families. It could be something that is a brain chemical that's not quite right, that needs to be addressed. It could also be something as simple as substance abuse. People who take amphetamines or smoke cannabis, you kind of get more anxiety. They're looked at as depressants, and that can cause anxiety and paranoia. So substance abuse can also create anxiety in you, but almost all anxiety is triggered by stress, whether it's environmental, medical, genetics, substance abuse. It's all triggered by stress. And once you have stress, it gives you patterns of negative thoughts, where you worry about things and you look at the worst case scenarios. Then once you constantly engage in thoughts of negative patterns, this then slips into what could then turn into real panic attacks. So let's have a look at what your body will feel like when you're going into anxiety and panic attack. Change the slide, please, Em. Thank you. Okay, so some of the things that you might feel within your body is racing thoughts. You might have, like I said before, about having lots of negative thoughts that keep going on. You might even have repetitive thoughts about things that you need to do, obsessive thoughts, that if you don't do this, this is going to happen. You might have blurred vision where you're breathing so quickly that, you know, you don't get enough oxygen in your body. You might have trouble sleeping, you know, with all the thoughts going on in your head. It might just be really difficult to get off to sleep. And without sleep, of course, you're going to feel anxious because your body is tired. You might feel breathless, start breathing quickly. And again, it just has a knock-on effect. Your body might feel restless inside where you can't find any peace within. You will tremble, shake, have jelly legs where the whole of your, you know, your insides are shaking. You can feel it. Other people might not be able to see all this going on, but this might be going on internally for you. You might feel nausea, no appetite at all. There could be sweating, like sweaty palms, difficulty in swallowing and dry mouth. I've actually got that at the moment because I'm talking so much. Feeling dizzy, and obviously the most common is the heart palpitation, where you're breathing quickly and the heart rate goes up, and then you get the feeling that you might want to cry because it just feels so overwhelming for you. So this is what some of the things, you mean, you might just have one of these things, or you might have all of these things, but at some point we will all feel something when we're feeling anxious, you know. So I think we're going to have a look now at what we can do to help ourselves when we're feeling the anxiety coming on.
Yeah, and just going back on the anxiety, mine, I don't have all of these symptoms, but when I have an anxiety attack, I get the sort of heart palpitations, a lump in my throat where I can't swallow, and I feel like I can't breathe. And that's, as soon as I get like that, I have to stop myself and really like start putting them coping tools in place to stop that from furthering. So that's just
when I'm feeling anxious, I have obviously I said I get the dry mouth, but I also get like a feeling in my tummy, and I end up going to the toilet quite a few times because of the nervousness that I feel. That's the way that my anxiety comes out in me. What about you, Becky? How do you feel your anxiety?
Yeah, it's funny because we were having this conversation earlier, and it's funny from how, on Emma's perspective to my perspective, how hers is a lot more severe in terms of how she feels compared to how I feel. I would say normally if I'm feeling a little bit nervous or anxious, if I've got, say, a presentation, or if I've got to do a big talk in front of someone, I normally get sweaty palms and a little bit of a heart palpitation. But I slowly started to realise that that's just normal, and it's okay to have these type of nervousness, because it just shows that you're passionate about what you're doing, and that it's actually supposed to be, in some instances, supposed to be a good feeling. But I think that's where we're trying to look at when it gets to that point of where it becomes a little bit out of control, and ways that we can actually try and control that we see that it's not normal. But yeah, if it's one or two signs, that's totally normal. And I think, like Mum said earlier, anxiety is, everybody has anxiety to a certain degrees, to certain levels. It's just how we manage that.
But you, Anita, how do you feel anxiety?
I nowadays networking. I run a networking group, and the first time I went networking, nobody would know on the outside. You had to stand up and you had to like do this 1 minute pitch. This is the recent anxiety, and I would just get a feeling all in my body, and I would just think, oh my God, I just want to kind of walk away, and it'd be like a nervousness in my body, but it would never show. like Becky was saying, it was like, oh, the presentation, standing up in front of people. But people would say, and I'd say, oh my God, was that okay? And they'd say, yeah, it was great. You were great. And yet what I was speaking didn't match what I was feeling inside. But what happened is, over the course of a few years, it went away. It's like I can do it now. I run a group. But I still get it if it's public speaking. It's interesting to watch sweaty palms, slightly raised heart rate, slight uncomfortable feeling inside. But I don't fight it now. It's just like, okay, welcome. Let's just do it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's interesting. So next we're going to talk about
Can I
what.
say something though?
Yeah.
I have had an experience where there was a panic attack and I breathed through it, which I'll share when I'm talking later. But there are different degrees of anxiety, so this is where you need to tune into your own body and know where you're at with it. What's normal, like Becky was saying, me with the networking, or okay, there's something a little bit more here. I need some more resources or some more help. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to explore it a little bit more. And I think this comes on to our next point really nicely, actually, what to do to help. So we've put a few little tips here, 5 little points of what we think that could help when you're with your anxiety. So one being taking the time to reflect and check in. So sort of check in with yourself when you wake up in the morning, see how you're feeling, check in and sort of see what you can do to reduce that anxiety, to stop yourself from feeling so anxious. There's lots of self-help strategies out there that you can do. Going to bed early, exercise. There's lots of exercise out and about at the moment during lockdown. We've got YMCA doing theirs. We've got Joe Wicks. We've got Beth Cooper Roberts doing Zumba. There's lots of relaxation techniques, which Anita's going to show us in a bit, one of them. Self-help books and reducing the alcohol and caffeine intake. So that's really weird, actually, because I get heart palpitations now when I drink coffee. So I've had to reduce that and drink decaf. It's fine. I'm used to it now. But yeah, that's just one thing that can help. Does anyone else want to elaborate a little bit on this?
When I am feeling anxious, and believe me, with the type of work that we're doing, sometimes it can be really overwhelming. So I like to take myself out into nature. I know there's a park that I like to go to. It's got a lake, and walking around the lake and seeing the autumn and the different seasons that happens in this particular park is really lovely for me. And if I go with a friend or a member of my family, we talk about stuff, about what we see for the future and our visions for what we want for ourselves. And for me, that is my time to let out my anxiety. I like looking at views. I like being in nature. And that for me is where I go when I'm feeling anxious and overwhelmed.
Brilliant. Thank you. And then the next one, number 2, is to talk. It's really key that we speak up and talk about our anxieties. Holding it isn't going to help. We need to sort of let it out and explore that a little bit more. There's so many support groups. Speaking to friends and family, just to let you know you're not alone. As Mum said earlier, we all have anxiety to different degrees. So yeah, just open up and speak about it a bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was telling you earlier, Emma, about a conversation I was having with a friend the other day, and she just got to a point where she was like, I just need to tell you something. I just need to get it off my chest, because it was obviously something that was something that she was keeping in, that she just needed to let go of. Yeah. And she said what she needed to say, and instantly you could see the relief and just the
off of her shoulders.
Yeah, just getting it off of her shoulders. And it's just generally just about talking and opening up and feeling that you can express how you feel and not feel ashamed about it.
Yeah, that's it really. And someone's just knocked at the door, so I'm going to quickly go and see. Mum, will you take over number 3?
Yeah, so if you know that you have an anxiety disorder, or you know that your anxiety has reached a level where you can't control it, go and see your GP. go and see your GP, talk to them and see what hints and tips that they can give you. Get yourself checked out, because it might be something that is actually physically wrong with you that is causing the anxiety attacks. And otherwise, they can refer you to talking therapies or meditation classes. So it's always good to seek medical help if you feel that your anxiety is getting out of control.
Brilliant, thanks, Mum. And then the next one, this is a really good one actually. Anita brought this up yesterday. It's really to stop and pause and ask yourself a question. Anita, would you like to elaborate a little bit on this?
Yeah, because your body, you have a parasympathetic and a sympathetic nervous system. You might remember this from biology, but you know, I didn't really enjoy biology.
Nor did I.
But then I went on to study it, and I love this stuff. It's like, well, I changed. So you have a parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, and your body isn't designed to be relaxed all the time, and you're not designed to be go, go, go all the time. Your body has its natural way of doing daily tasks. Yes, got to get this done, and you're feeling all good, and now it's time for relaxation. It's when it becomes imbalanced. So I, through my own experiences and my own teaching and learning, and with my family and what I do as work, I've sought lots of routes to deal with my own anxiety and also teach it to my clients. So one of the things to do when you pause, that parasympathetic, if you just pause and ask a question, you stop this loop of thought, this loop of hormones rushing for the fight flight. When you pause and ask a question, you open to a different possibility. So just a pause. Now, what also happens is when you have anxiety, all your blood rushes up, doesn't it? It goes up and out your head, and your energy just goes straight up to your head, and normally you get bombarded with thoughts and feelings, and you feel like you can't cope. What you want to be doing is taking the energy down. So that's why when Jenny mentioned, going for a walk in nature, just looking at nature will change your state, because you're taking your thoughts off of this and onto something else. So pause, ask a question. Okay, I can feel these intense awareness of this. Wow, this heart racing, my throat, my this, my that. Oh, that's interesting. What's going on? And you just allow yourself a pause. So what you do is you stop being the effect of the anxiety, and you're more viewing. So you've got this other energy coming in that can actually, you can use it to reduce the intensity. So when you stop and ask a question, you open up a different possibility. So what am I aware of here? Now, your anxiety could be a message, or you could be picking up on somebody else's thoughts. So another question is like, it could be a message of, I don't think that choice is going to be right for me, and your body's showing it. Or it can be something that's triggered you from a past event that you haven't healed. So when you pause, and this information is already inside of you, so it's not like you have to seek a lot to find it. You just literally pause. What am I aware of? Brilliant question to ask, and in that pause you allow
it's definitely something I'm going to have to try 100%.
And
when I get to that moment,
because you can, I don't want to say take control of it, because that's the wrong words, but play with this tool. Take a pause, ask a question, what am I aware of? And then you leave another pause. What are my choices right now? You know, you can ask any question. What do I need to do right now? Or, you know, stress is caused because you feel like you lack something. You feel like you lack time. You feel like you lack resources. You feel like you lack something. That's the cause of all stress. So another question could be is, what do I feel or think I lack right now in this moment, in these 10 seconds? What is it I feel like I'm lacking?
That's amazing.
Yeah, different possibility. So, and what do I need to do right now to take care of myself? That's another question. And it will be different every time, folks. There is not one solution here. You are a being that has multiple thoughts and choices, and you show up different every day. So so when you're in the question, you might get a different feedback. One time it might be, I need to ring a friend. Another time it might be, I need to go for a walk. Another time it need to be, I just need to sit and breathe. you know. So be open to awarenesses that will come to you if you just take a pause and be in the question. Yeah, and
absolutely love that. Thank you, Anita. I think, yeah, hopefully you guys have taken some tips from that, because I certainly have. I've learned a lot there. So, and then the last one is self-care. Self-care is my favourite. I'm all about self-care, looking after myself and well-being. Those that know me know that I love a bubble bath, and I can stay in there for hours and hours and just relax. It's my time. But yeah, it's all about self-care, taking those naps if you need to, having the duvet days with the popcorn and the chocolate, you know, reading a book, going out for a nice walk, as Mum said, and just looking after yourself. It's really key. And what we would like you guys to do is take half an hour tonight and put it into practice, and just do something for yourself for half an hour, a little bit of self-care. So let us know. And then next we're going to pass you over to my mum.
So, what you can do if you witness someone having a panic attack, it's all well and good us understanding what panic attack is and how to look after yourself, but you might have somebody, a friend, who has panic attacks all the time. And it's good to know what to do to help them, to help your family, a friend, or even somebody in a shopping mall or on the street who's having an attack and is in a place of panic and don't know what to do. You know what to do. So again, we've put together some tips here that you can use. So the first one I would say would be, if someone's having a panic attack and you don't know if it's a panic attack, the first thing you need to do is to call an ambulance, because they might be having you might be having a heart attack. You might be something really serious going on. So call the ambulance. If you realize that it's nothing life-threatening and it is a panic attack, and they can let you know it's a panic attack, quickly take them to a quiet place. Nothing's worse than having a panic attack in front of a whole host of people staring at you. That panic attack isn't going to go. So take that person to a quiet place where they can then start to get themselves calmed down. You need to stay calm, because also panicking with them is not going to help. It's like, what can I do? Where can I go? How can I help? Stay calm. If you want, help them to get their breathing into a good place. You know, breathe with them so that you could do it jointly, and they can have your support in that way. They might actually know what they need to do, because some people who have regular panic attacks actually know what they need to do to get themselves out of it. But if they don't, and it's the first time they've had one, help them to get their breathing regulated. You know, ask them, breathe with me, breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4, you know. Mm-hmm. Once they start to come out of it and they're able to articulate and talk, listen to what they have to say, because they might be able to share with you what has brought on the panic attack. Listen without judgment, you know, because if they're going to share something with you, it's because this has really affected them. You might be a stranger, you might be a friend. It's just good to listen. And if it's the first time that they're having a panic attack and they don't really realize what it is, and you know it's a panic attack, you can say, it's a panic attack. It's not life-threatening. It's going to pass. All panic attacks eventually go. It's how you deal with it in that moment. That's what matters. And make sure that you stay with them. Tell them, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to stay with you until this passes, so that they know they've got someone there. So these are all the things that you can do to help somebody if you know they're going through a panic attack. So we all know what to do now.
Brilliant, thank you. And I think it's really key as well that you reassure them. I love number 5, that just reassuring them, letting them know that they're okay. I know that when I have panic attacks, all I can think about is me dying. That is it. And so when I'm having one, it's usually with my husband there. He will just say, Emma, you're okay, just breathe, you know. And so that's a really good one to have. So next we have Anita, who's gonna the happiness coach, who's gonna go through some breathing techniques with you guys, And I hope you learn a lot from this, because I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, so thank you. And with the happiness, there's something called EFT, not the happiness, the panic attacks and the assurance. You can actually just, as they're breathing, just say, you're safe. You're safe with me, you're safe. You're safe. You're safe. Just with that low tone. Oh, it's a bit like when I'm holding a crying baby, when I've been given a crying baby or something, I just actually say to the baby, you're safe. You're safe. You're safe. So try that one as well. Right, so on to me, the happiness coach. So I've been working with energies for nearly 20 years, guys. And they say, when you've done something for 20 years, you are a master of your craft. Well, here we go. So all things energy for me. I've been on my own personal journey. I've experienced a panic attack and I thought I was going to die, and actually breathing got me through it. So I know that this works. I'm not going to go into that in detail here, but I was in a yoga class. I'd been strangled in this lifetime, and I was healing myself, and I was on my self-healing journey, and we were all lying down on mats. So we'd done all this stretching, but it was a key energy yoga. So it's a different kind of yoga. And then you had to kind of like relax the body, bring light through, and then breathe into your abdomen. And I could feel the feelings start to come in. And I thought, Christ, I feel like I'm going to die. Because that's what you feel when you're having a panic attack. You actually feel like you're going to die. But it was too embarrassing for me. Picture the scene. You're just there, it's all quiet, everybody's gone in. You've got yoga teachers just walking around, checking on everybody, and everybody's just breathing and going within. And I'm having a full-blown panic attack whilst looking like I'm being very quiet. And actually what happened is the intensity of the feelings came. I just breathed, I focused, I breathed. Felt like an eternity. And then it went, and I have never had one since. Okay, so that's what happened to me in my story. And I think everybody's body will be different, but I know how, when I say I know how you feel, I know how you feel. Yeah. So breathing, oh my goodness, the breath, you cannot, it's the first thing a baby does when it's born, it breathes. Yeah, your breath is a gift, and your body is a gift, and then you have your nervous system, and it's all giving messages throughout the day. Generally, when we breathe normally, we breathe 8 to 12 breaths per minute. That's a normal breath. It's like 8 to 12 breaths per minute. We can use breath as a means to energizing us, regulating us during the day, and then setting us up for sleep in the evening. So I'm not going to do the empowering breaths that I would do in the morning, but I'm just going to do a ratio of 4 to 4, which is a midday balancer for your breath. But you can do this same technique in the evening, just before you go to sleep. Cultivate a habit of doing a 1 to 2 ratio, which is breathing in for 4, but out for 8. During this little thing, we're just going to do a few breaths to take us up to the end and leave us in a good place. We're just going to do a 4 to 4 ratio that Jenny mentioned earlier, 4 to 4. So we're going to do a few rounds of that, and I'm just going to count you in. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. But at the same time this evening, just 4, even 10 rounds, which goes in a couple of minutes, guys. And don't do any more than that. Breathing, it's not necessary to do for ages. Literally 3 rounds of 10 or 3 rounds of 20. That's it. That's enough. That's it. That's all you require. But we're just going to do 1 round of 10 here today, maybe 5. See how you go. Or 4 to 4 ratio. But in the evening tonight, try it, breathing in for 4 and then out for 8, just for a round of 10. Okay. So I'd just like to invite you to get comfortable. Nothing to get right here. Close your eyes if you choose to. Yeah. And there's nothing to get right. You can bring your awareness down to the soles of your feet and just say, hey body, just relax. Just relax. Okay. And then just take a normal breath and out. And now I'm going to invite you to breathe in as much as you want to for a count of 4. So breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathing out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now just stay there with your eyes closed and just take a normal breath. So that was one round of 5, guys. We agreed that we wouldn't do any more on this webinar in case, or this little Facebook Live. But just notice, did it feel different at all? Normally we'd do a round of 10. You can increase this. You can share. Did that kind of have any effect, Jenny? Did that?
Yeah, no, that was really lovely. I just think that I do meditation anyway, so I really enjoy whenever I'm feeling stressed, even just sitting at my computer and I'm working away, I just need to take a bit of time out. I just breathe. Stuart says to me, "Are you sighing again?" But actually, I'm breathing. I'm breathing and slowing myself down and taking in, you know, my breath. And it helps. It helps me.
Yeah, it does help. There are techniques that I teach, or I will be teaching in workshops, where you kind of close off the throat and the breath. It's more like a yogic breath and things, but we're not doing that here today. But Emma, how was that for you?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I did still a little bit lightheaded. But I just feel like I need to practice a little bit more. I really do. It's one of my flaws. I do need to really think about my breathing, and yeah, so I'm going to definitely come to one of your classes.
Yeah, and what about you, Becky? How was that?
I enjoyed it. I said yesterday, it really makes me relaxed.
Yeah.
And yeah, in that Zen space for a second.
Yeah, so good, because during the day, you know, if you did this, and it's literally for a couple of minutes, guys, an empowering breath in the morning, but I'll teach that in workshops. I'm not going to do that here. Just a leveler, but it's all in the ratio. So the faster you breathe, but if you breathe intentionally, you energize, you calm, and then the evening you totally relax. So you can use your breath in this way, and it's a go-to resource that's always with you. So if all else fails, just breathe. And something else I just wanted to mention is that when I was on my rebounder this morning, I actually got up and exercised. Woohoo! Part of self-care. I had the idea of, it was only last week, I recorded, I had a little workshop, and it was using these tools, and Ask a Question is one of them. And it's a stress relief workshop. I've got the recording of it, and I will make that available for any of the Lucy Rayner Foundation, I don't know what you want to call them.
Attendees?
Attendees, for £10. And it's like you get a manual. I'll email you this manual to print out. There are 4 tools in there. But at the end of it, I'll show you how to run your implant band, which is a stress relieving thing from Access Consciousness. So I only charge £40 because it's just an intro class with this. Well, I'm going to gift it to you guys for £10. You'll get a downloadable email. You'll get the recording, a downloadable PDF. You'll get the recording. And if you use these tools, my goodness, they'll work to not only bring you stress relief, but to get you incredibly happy.
I need one. I'll buy one later.
So email me Anita Wisdom 9 @gmail.com, and I can just email you back with the information of that, because these, like, what if the purpose of anxiety is to actually transform into something far beyond you could ever imagine? That's actually what my personal journey's been. So I've walked the talk, you know, I know that it's possible, and that's what I like to do with my work now, is teach.
Lovely.
Thank you, Anita.
So that concludes this week's check-in. Hopefully you've been able to take some tools and some tips away with you today. Thank you so much, Anita, for sharing your experience and some breathing techniques with us today. That's absolutely amazing. Next week, we're going to be looking at loneliness. So please tune in next week if you want to hear some tips and some information about loneliness whilst you're in lockdown and even outside of lockdown. I also wanted to say happy Diwali to those that are celebrating tomorrow. I know it's unfortunate during these times that we can't all celebrate and get together and enjoy our festivities, but hopefully we'll be able to do some small celebrations within your family. So happy Diwali to those. And that really concludes today's session. So yeah, have a nice Friday, have a nice weekend, and we will hopefully see you next Friday.
Happy
See you
Friday.
later. Bye.
Bye.